The only way you're going to progress in Destiny Rising is increasing your acclaim level, at least once you've hit the level cap of level 80. And there are a few ways you can improve your acclaim level fairly quickly. Now, the big ones, getting over acclaim level 15, acclaim level 18 are going to require you to get some endgame resources. But today, I'm specifically talking about how we can complete a lot of these other low-level acclaims just to get a bit more XP to boost your level. I've been holding off on this to make a video about it. So I'm only acclaim level 32 right now, but I'm going to show you how we can quickly change that with very little resources. So let's take a look. There's a lot of information here that we can kind of gather about how we can gain some acclaim levels very quickly. It's all about power rating, relic power, and artifact gilding. Now, we don't really have enough resources to go and level up everyone's artifact gilding to level 9. We don't necessarily have a bunch of resources to level up relic power, but we certainly can try to increase the base power of a lot of our characters without really wasting too many resources whatsoever. One of the best things we can do, if you haven't yet, is temporarily put your highest valued artifacts on the characters that may require them. For example, let's take Finala. Right now, Finala's artifact score is 7,000, but because she's solar and I have some exotic artifacts for solar, I can boost her artifact rating very, very quickly, and later on I can put on the other artifacts that may be suitable for her. Like, I can literally just, go like this, put on these artifacts, even if they're not suitable for Finala, and temporarily boost her power rating. And now, all of a sudden, Finala's artifact power rating is 18,000. We just took a 10,000, over 10,000 in fact, boost in power, right? And now, if we take a look at the acclaim level for Finala, we can see that we are very, very close to getting this score. We only need a few thousand more. We can do the same with all of our other characters that we don't really play. If you have exotic artifacts for Void, Arc, and Solar already, you can spread those across all of your characters to boost, well, all of your characters' stats extremely quickly. So we can go like this, put on these artifacts, and like that, we've boosted Zhuan power massively as well, right? So artifacts is a great way to improve your power very quickly. And I'd honestly go as far as to say there should be 3 sets of artifacts that you fully buff out as much as you can. Solar exotics, Void exotics, and Arc exotics that you fully upgrade, right? So for example, I can come to Wolves here and see that, I can make some work here. I could probably upgrade this one with artifact refactoring to try and increase the power a little bit more. The resources that I put into here not only make Wolf stronger, which is a character I use on the regular, but that power rating will also apply to anyone else I put these artifacts on, right? I mean, it's common sense, really, but just by putting in the right resources to the right artifacts, we're boosting the power rating across the board instead of using all different sets of resources. For example, these artificial factual essences across a bunch of different characters is going to be far harder to get my hands on that many artifacts that I fully upgrade separately. The same can be said with weapons. There are a lot of characters that share weapons. For example, this Sworn Oath assault rifle on Wolf, I still have some ways to fully upgrade it, right? I can go and grind for this Mobius cluster throughout, Grandmaster activities or doing the Expanse. And by doing so, I could increase my power rating by 400 on Wolf, but that will also, in turn, be able to increase Finala's power rating. The same can be said for a lot of exotic weapons. For example, let's have a look at what weapons I'm building on Ningfei right now. The Huckleberry. Is there anything I can do to improve the Huckleberry's power? Yes, I've got some of this currency, and that is going to not only increase Ningfei's power, but Yolda's power. So the most resource-efficient way we can go about things is first, go to our Acclaim bonus, and see which characters are the closest to leveling up their power to the next tier, right? Yumeko right now, I need just a tiny bit more. So let's see what weapons we can do, because right now she has no decent weapons. I haven't built her out yet at all, but we know that she shares weapons with Tan 2. So I can double dip here, essentially, and go, all right, what weapons can I put on, right? Polaris Lance, we can upgrade that. And then this is going to be useful for both Tan 2 and Yumeko, and I'm only using half the resources. So we're going to fully upgrade that. We're going to raise the gear level to max. We don't actually have enough currency for now, but we'll do it to 75 for the time being. And exotic refinement. Now we move on to the next point. It's all about using resources that are low level. Some resources are very hard to come by, and you're only going to get very few, like every couple weeks, and there's a limit to how many you can get them. Some examples of that could be ascension cells, or superposed photons, or actual exotic weapon copies. However, some currency, you're going to start to build up in stacks and stacks. For example, I right now have so many of this contextual dataset currency because once you get the first catalyst unlocked, you essentially need duplicates, right? You can get the first one here unlocked, but then you need a duplicate weapon. So I have a bunch of this currency sitting around that I'm not going to need on my endgame characters. The same could be said for your relic abilities. If I go to, say, Tan 2's relic abilities, actually, I've already upgraded it. Let's say Finale's relic abilities. Right here, I've got the Incandescence Tuft, which is going to upgrade your abilities from level 1 to level 9. All of my endgame characters aren't going to use this currency at all, and I've got a bunch sitting around. So, of course, I can upgrade this to level 9 to push my power rating a little bit higher. And I can do this on all characters, essentially, because I don't need this currency. And the same can be said with this. And basically, anytime you want to upgrade something, you just check if that resource is even necessary on your main characters. If it's not, of course you can throw it in. This is a bit of a different story, though. These solar fruits, or any kind of fruits, is it worth doing? You're going to have to ask yourself that carefully, because this is a currency that is used for late game stuff, including artifact gilding. But we can at least get this first relic trait, and this second one as well. The third one, absolutely do not do. Incandescence clusters are extremely important for leveling up your characters. So, yeah, you don't want to throw away that. But now, if we take a look at Finale, her power rating has already gone over the cap we need to get the Acclaim points. And all we've done is essentially upgrade relic abilities with currency that we don't really ever need anymore because it's for low-level upgrades. We've put in artifacts that are just already created on my main character Wolf, and we've put on weapons that are also from my main character Wolf, right? Obviously, this one is a free gift as well from the event. So, with that being said, we can now go here and look at that. We've just managed to get more power from Finale, and also we've managed to get more power for Yumeko. So, you can upgrade a lot in the game by just sharing resources. And now we can go back here and see what other ways can we improve our level further. Let's go right to the end. Are there any characters that we're kind of sleeping on? Kaber, let's see if we can upgrade his power rating too. You're not going to really be able to do the relic thing, but the power rating you could definitely get away with. So let's have a look at Kaber's stuff and see what we can do. Maybe we can improve his power rating with as least amount of resources possible. There we go. He shares the same weapons with Estella, another one of my characters. That's great. So 6,000 extra power for literally doing nothing there. Artifacts. He's an arc character, so unfortunately I don't actually have many arc artifacts, but I do have some mythics that I upgraded that are lying around before I went for exotics. So you can at least put those on there to get a massive boost in power as well. And just like that, we've essentially, just checking that's the highest power rating. You can even go like this, sort by power, and just see which ones are the best, right? It's a quick way to do it. Like, it doesn't matter what artifacts are on this character because we're not going to be playing him. We're just doing it for the points. Now his power rating is 46,000. We just need a tiny bit more. We can do the same thing with the relic abilities that we just did with Finale, upgrading it up to level 9. And just like that, our power rating starts to go up bit by bit. And before you know it, we're going to have a lot of more acclaim points, right? So we stop at level 9 because this is when this useful resource comes into play that we really need to be careful of and hold on to. Okay. We'll do all 3 up to level 9. And once again, weapon mastery is a bit of a different story. We do the first 2, but not necessarily anything else. We don't want to do this one. We don't want to do the 3rd one, but we can do the first 2. We've actually run out of resources here now. You can always get more of these from the Shifting Gates vendor. You can also get them from the Pack Shop Exchange. Like, I don't need any of this. I may as well just take it, right? There's not really anything else in the Pack Shop Exchange that I really need right now. We can have a look at the activity page. Again, there's more here. I've almost bought everything from here. You've already bought all of the good stuff. You can start buying the currency that you don't need because, well, what else are you going to do with it, right? Well, yeah. So basically, low value currency ends up becoming very high value for increasing your acclaim level. Like that, after just spending a couple minutes in the store. You can get this to level 9 as well. Always stop at level 9, though. Now look at his power rating, 51,000. And just like that, we've got another bunch of XP to claim. Now, what about a character that you don't necessarily have much for? Let's have a look at Ikora, right? Upgrade Ikora to 46,100 power. So this is going to be a little bit harder because Ikora is, well, you know, a character that I've put no effort into whatsoever. But we can still use low value stuff to pretty much upgrade them. Firstly, we'll start with the artifacts. Obviously, exotics from my Void character Gwyn makes sense there. Relic abilities, we can take these to level 9 as well, just like we did with Kaba. Remember, only to do the first weapon mastery thing there. Okay, we've run out of resources there, but we'll look at the other stuff that is, you know, a little bit more interesting. So we don't have any exotics for Ikora, and we don't have any reason to waste exotic engrams on them. So we can, though, use mythic weapon engrams, which are so common. I mean, just by doing casual events every day, you're going to end up with stacks of it, right? So we essentially just get some of these, like so, and then we go like this. So we might not have the mythic weapons that Ikora requires, right? For example, let's say we want this. Then what we can do is go mythic weapon choice engrams. And that will get you the chance right there to get the one you want. But anyway, we're going to just double mythic Ikora up. Now, if you have a lot of mythic resources lying around, you can actually boost the power as well by rolling double extra mythic rolls. This will actually get you more power. So if you look at this, the base power is 2,800 plus 900. But when you have 4 rolls, it ends up being 2,800 plus 1,850. That is a big boost. And we've literally done that just by rolling this. And you can just use your mythic resources, right? This stuff to just keep rolling more of the same weapon until you get those rolls. I would only advise doing that once you've got god rolls on your main characters already. But I've got so many of this mythic lying around that we may as well do it. And now we can upgrade these weapons in a way that isn't going to use resources our main characters need. So this uses weapon enhancement prism spread, and I've got a lot of that, so we don't need this. Another example might be, let's say you want to upgrade one character like Kaba, and you need to use weapon enhancement prism rapid fire, right? That's something I might need. So I'm going to just quickly check on the characters that I actually play. Do I need to use this resource at all? Enhanced? No, I'm already max level there. I don't need this resource, right? I just don't need it anymore. So, in that regard, we can go, okay, this is a resource that's literally no use for me because I've already maxed out my enhance. So I can just max out this level as well, right? And you're going to want to go to level 7 because at that point, you're going to go into Mythic Weapon Infusion Core territory, and this is very valuable. So I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but level 7 is a good starting point to improve. And then you can also put on mods. You've probably got a bunch of Mythic mods lying around, and or legendary, depends how far through the game you are. To me, Mythic mods are not worth anything. Like, I need exotic mods at this point. I don't need Mythic mods at all. They're just a waste of my, like, it's not going to make me have any more power. For you, it might be legendary mods, so may as well, you've probably got some lying around that you can just throw on your character because they're resources you just don't need, right? So the whole, like, there's so many ways to improve power without wasting resources that you just need to be very, very aware of. Whenever you upgrade something, just double check, is that resource of value anywhere? If it is, use it where it needs to be used first. But then, for the most part, you can then upgrade. For example, mod fragments. I have 1,200 at this point, so I can go all of the way up to level 5, knowing that I'm not wasting anything. You don't want to go past that, once again, because then you do have a currency. You're probably seeing a pattern, right? Just upgrade everything you possibly can with the low value resources that you no longer need for your main character. But don't go further than that. Don't use any resources that you could actually probably make use of. And we can do the exact same thing with the rocket launcher, right? Raise the gear level. We can equip mods just in the same way. We've got a bunch of these to use. And then we can, of course, upgrade it once again to level 5 on each mod. Then, just like that, if we go back to Akura now, her power rating is 47,000. And we only use resources that are just lying about at this point. All right, so far, this is pretty obvious. But I do have a tip for you that's going to be pretty interesting if you need to squeeze out just a bit more power. So we've gone over using resources that you don't need on your main character anymore, the low value resources. We've gone over swapping around artifacts and weapons that you have on your main characters as well. And now we've got refunding resources so that you can push out just a bit more level, right? We can do all of this with every character in the game. But for example, what if you're just not quite there, right? We're not quite there with Zhonwei. How can we do it to push out a bit more power? Well, we can take a look at his weapon type, an impact weapon, and then find a character that we've got a fully enhanced impact weapon on. For example, Gwyn. Go to modify, and then on the enhanced page, click this. You will get all of your resources back with a 10% glimmer loss, which isn't a big deal. I mean, we're only losing like 5,000 glimmer. Go like that, confirm, and then we go down to Zhonwei, go like this, and fully enhance it. And like that, we've got more power out of the weapon. And then we can go back and fully upgrade everything else that we could possibly do, right? To level 9 again. And then once we reach the power cap that we need, we can just go back to the gun and claim back our resources. And then just go back up to wherever we put the resources in and fully enhance it. And we'll lose about 10,000 glimmer from doing this, but we won't lose any resources whatsoever. So by following this guide, you will basically be able to do the first upgrade quest for every character in the game. You will run out of some resources, namely you're gonna hit a wall with some of the relic upgrade resources, but that will be grindable. I would advise shifting gates for this one. And this is going to be the most efficient way to get this resource, okay? Just remember to only upgrade to level 9 for these. Now, you're going to see a lot of people with really high acclaim level online, but I'd actually recommend against doing that. I think you should do the first quest, but you should avoid doing relic power to 13,900, and you should avoid artifact gilding level to 9 until you've maxed out your main characters. I would recommend having 3 main characters, 1 for each element type, because it's going to really help out in the late game. But until you have essentially got full artifact gilding level, fully maxed out here, and fully maxed out your relic abilities, which require a lot of incandescent clusters, don't go down the route of trying to upgrade anything else, because this is going to cost Void Fruit. It's going to cost incandescence clusters, which you should have on your main. And I just don't think it's really worth going past it. I mean, if we look at our acclaim level right now, we can get some bonuses, but they're not a massive deal, right? Like artifact drop bonus, increasing percentage. This is not additional. This makes a very small difference. You're not getting a 10% exotic drop chance. It's essentially a 2.7% drop chance or something like that, right? Most of these upgrades aren't going to make a massive difference on your account. What is going to make a massive difference on your account is upgrading your main character's stats fully first before spending these very rare incandescence clusters. So definitely take your acclaim level all the way you can by getting this first quest done, right? But I would not recommend doing these until you've maxed out your main characters. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this useful. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.